Three, two, one. Three, two, one. Whoa,
Was that on?
that was perfect.
Sweet.
That was the most perfect one we had. Dude, what a great way to start this. Well, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Side Tangent. It's Jared.
And I'm Parker. And to start, I have story time for us.
Buckle up.
So there
Let's
I
hear it.
was, up in the mountains of Utah.
Okay.
And this specific, it was the same survival camp where I've fainted multiple times and almost got struck by lightning. This whole different area, but same organization. So not the time. This was not the desert area, so there was no worry of me fainting or getting struck by lightning.
Okay.
But out there, where we were in the mountains, there were bears.
You and bears, dude.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really. Well, I guess that's me spoiling the story, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
But there had been supposedly bear attacks in the past. I never know if when people told me at camp there was bear attacks, I didn't ever know if they were being legit or they were just lying to make sure you stay inside your tent. Because I would lie when I was a counselor.
That's a good way to put it.
But regardless, we're concerned about bears. So that night, 3 a.m., there's just a loud. You can hear loud movement coming up the mountain we're on, the hill, if you will. And we're terrified because we can hear movement. But luckily, as it gets closer, we hear an engine. So we're okay, it's a vehicle. But who would be driving up here in the middle of the night?
A bear truck driver?
A bear truck
Oh,
driver.
no way.
No, even scarier. It was an RV driven by about 10 hippies. And because they were looking for the hippie festival, I guess. And it turns out it was the mountain next to us. And so it was not a bear, it was just a hippie. But that camp was 7 days long, and every night we could just hear them blasting music and could see fireworks and lights going off. So we just had hippie neighbors on a mountain over, and I heard them all night.
That's pretty cool.
It was kind of fun.
Hey, that's kind of fun. It's better than a bear.
It's better than a bear.
Yeah. Hippies, people. I mean, I don't know if that's an insensitive comment, but I don't even know what demographic of people
that's
you're talking about.
That's what the guy referred to himself as.
Oh, so the guy called himself a hippie.
He called himself a hippie.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
If it's a bad term now, I'm sorry, but I mean, I don't think it is. I don't even think anyone's a hippie anymore.
Yeah.
That's more of a 60s thing.
It's more of a mindset than anything. How have you been, dude, other than, your hippie encounters?
Good. It's been pretty warm here in Utah today, it's been cold the past while, so it was randomly a beautiful day today. It
was beautiful outside. Yeah, really like that. Question for you. Okay. We talked a little bit about this the other day, or it was earlier today, I can't remember, but so we just learned of this thing that the Amish community does where they give people of their community, I think it's a year. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments.
The Rumspringa or whatever.
Rumspringa, something like that. I just learned about it, or I didn't know what it was called as Rumspringa.
I think that's what it's called.
So for those who don't know, the Amish community lets people of their members of the community go out for a year and experience life outside of the Amish community. They can go and do whatever they want, and then they have the opportunity to decide if they want to come back to the Amish or leave forever and things like that. And so, question for you. An Amish person is going on Rumspringa, and they're like, Parker, for whatever reason they're coming up to you, Parker, what is the first thing you want me to do? What would you make them do?
So the sad thing is I just feel like I don't know as much about Amish people as I should. Because I don't know what they do in terms of education and stuff. I assume they're well educated, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. The basics.
I would want to, because I'm picturing that we're in Pennsylvania, because that's where the largest Amish community in the U.S. is.
Sure. Does that affect your answer? Or?
No, I'm just saying, so for context, we're on the East Coast.
Okay.
So I'd want to take them to New York City.
Okay.
You know what, now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm sure they've been to New York City. Axe that. Ignore everything I said. I'm taking them on a cruise.
Oh, snap.
So I want them to see the top level of decadence in terms of modernized world, modernized living, where it's just a bunch
That's
of
a good one. Can you imagine like a wave rider?
yeah,
the fake surfing thing, or the see-through slides.
But yeah, but it's not just the fun stuff. It's just like showing like how decadent people are with this like buffets, and they're eating a ton, and they're gambling in the casino hall, and everyone's rude to the workers and stuff like that. And it's just opulent living for people that aren't like
that's
that.
A
so
good
like
answer.
this is both like the best and worst of modern
That's
living.
smart because it's kind of like you get everything. Like, like you got a year. Here's a quick crash course.
Here's a quick crash course.
Crash course.
Crash course. Hopefully, we'll see somewhere cool. So at the very least, if they like, either this experience will make them hate modern living, which I would understand, but then at the very least, they could see somewhere cool, like I don't know, Alaska or some Caribbean island, or they'll be like, okay, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's like
a tropical beach. That would be insane.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I heard there's like some Amish beach place or like tropical place somewhere. It's like a place that Amish people go on for vacation. I've only seen it
on spring break.
I've only seen this place mentioned though on those like probably fake AI articles, so I don't even know if it exists.
Gotcha.
So
chat, comment down below if this is a real place.
What would you do?
Well, real quick follow-up question. What's the first food you would have them eat?
That's like, I don't know. I don't think their food is that. It's not like they have religious commandments of what they can and can't eat that I'm aware of. But I would assume that they only eat stuff that you could conceivably make with simple machines and non-electricity. So I want to give them something that is like definitely needs like modern stuff to be made. Because their ice cream would probably be better.
Probably, yeah. The world's spiciest chip.
The world's spiciest chip. That's a good one.
That'd be murder.
That's a good one. Isn't it an eclair? What's the thing where it's like kind of...
Eclair is a dessert. I just don't know if that's the one you're thinking of. Eclair is like kind of like more of like a puffy pastry, kind of like a cream puff, but it's longer, and then it has chocolate.
I'll just do a churro.
Yes, the eclair is just the white churro. The French churro.
The famous a long churro or a short churro.
A churro would be a good one. That would blow their mind. Mm-hmm. So, okay, this is what I would do. First things first, VR. That VR blows my mind, and I've been around technology my whole life.
Have you ever used VR before?
Yeah, it makes me kind of sick.
Oh, okay.
Can you imagine doing VR, just having them do Beat Saber?
Yeah.
Or even better, VR, and then have them look at their own home via VR?
Quick aside, we had some family members use. There's this VR game where you like are walking on,
like over like a skyscraper.
Like you're supposed to get like a board and actually walk on it. And it was funny how jarring that is for a lot of people.
It's so realistic. I saw this prank where they had someone they pretended to pick someone up on like a piece of wood, and they're on VR, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going up higher," but they just lifted them up just a tiny bit, and they put like a piece of wood right above them, so when they touch the ceiling, they think it's and they're like, "Okay, jump, we're gonna catch you, jump," and they jump, and it's just like. Anyways, yeah, I would have them do that VR experience specifically, that and Beat Saber. Just have them, or maybe do the horror ones where they're sitting there and it just scares them.
Those horror ones are
that's bullying, but I think VR would be a crazy experience to go from being away from technology for the most part to having a VR set. That'd be insane. And the next food I would pick is Pop Rocks.
Interesting. Yeah. That's a good one.
Because I don't even understand how Pop Rocks work. And it's like, here, try these. They pop in your mouth.
Have you done the thing where when you bite lifesavers in your mouth, they spark?
I've never done it.
Okay, but you're aware of it.
I've heard of it. Is that true?
It is true.
I don't know if that's fake or not. Okay.
No,
have you ever done the thing? I don't know why you just reminded me of this. They did this a lot in middle school. There's a thing where kids would like hold this to their mouth, make that noise inside their mouth a bunch, and for some reason, when they open their mouth, it's just like vapor. Has that ever happened? Does anyone else? Am I just crazy? That's just my middle school. Because
is there nothing in their mouth?
No, they just
created.
They're doing that over and over, and then they would you'd blow into your hand until it's like no air is coming out, but you're blowing into it, and then for some reason it creates some kind of moisture thing, and then you open your mouth,
Did they have a vape pen on them by
No,
chance?
because when I was in middle school, the vape pens weren't really a thing.
I've never heard of that.
Okay, if someone can validate me on that, like you go,
we could Google it, but instead we'll see if anyone else has heard of it.
I don't even know what to Google. What do you Google?
Can humans produce fog or steam on their own?
Yeah, I don't know how they do that, but someone please try to validate me here because we did that a lot in my middle school. I have another question for you.
Okay.
I don't know if this question makes any sense, but do you have like any opinions that it's not necessarily a hot take, but opinions that you just have, but you don't really know, you don't really have the people that would understand the opinion or that would care of it. You just have them, not really sure where to share it. Doesn't have to be something crazy, but I'll give you an example while you think.
Okay.
Even now, I'm kind of a big Power Rangers fan. I don't keep up with it as much, but I like watching clips of like the old Power Rangers shows I used to watch. My favorite Power Rangers series is Power Rangers Time Force. That's my all-time favorite, and in my opinion, it's the best one. But obviously, you don't know much about Power Rangers. Most people don't know past Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original.
Quick aside, and previous listeners will know that you did a Beyblade,
yes,
like rundown.
Right.
Eventually, you should do a Power Rangers rundown because I want to learn more. I want to know about.
I would need to watch some of the other seasons. But I can do one about Time Force.
You can do one about Time Force.
Yeah, but it's my favorite. Has time travel. Has the name suggests.
As would insinuate.
Yeah, it insinuates Time Force. They're time traveling. In my opinion, it's the best one.
Okay.
I don't know anyone in my personal life that likes Power Rangers enough for me to say that to. So I just kind of keep that opinion to myself. There's some TikTok pages I've stumbled across that their entire page is Power Rangers, and so I watch it, and it's kind of nice to be nostalgic a little bit. But yeah, I've never had an outlet to say that opinion, but that's my opinion. If anyone agrees, let me know. Do you have anything like that?
I think so. Are you familiar with the kids show Rescue Heroes?
The guys with the giant feet?
The guys with the giant feet.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I double checked. I may still be wrong because I don't trust what the AI answer said, but I was always sure that the TV show had been canceled, and it looks like it might have been.
Okay.
So the toys, for people who don't know, it's this brand of toys for kids, and yeah, like it's usually like some emergency person. They all have like their own name and backstory. Special firefighters, special police, special like EMT stuff like that.
It was like our American Girl dolls.
Basically, yeah.
Rescue Heroes.
And yeah, they have very large feet, but there was a TV show that ran from 1999 to 2002, and then they made a movie in 2003 that sort of ended it all. And I think that they should bring it back or have something like that.
Dude, the theme song is like
so good.
It's on the tip of my tongue. How does it go? It's like I can't.
Because it makes a noise that I can't like replicate in real life.
Okay.
Because it's like, and then it's like alarms like, and it's like Rescue Heroes. I see.
Okay, yeah.
It's
like I'm watching it right now.
Did someone turn on Spotify?
Rescue Heroes?
You listen to it after this.
Okay. Off camera.
Or you could look it up now. But so, and like the whole point of it is that they're basically the Justice League, but for emergency. They have like a satellite.
The real heroes.
The real heroes. They have a satellite base. They have a base in the mountain, and they're called like it's like IRT, where it's like the International Response Team. Basically, they're basically like
the ERT.
The ERT.
Okay.
It's basically like it's just like the Justice League, but just emergency people, and they go all over the world. But like, and obviously it's cool. But the cool thing about the show also was that it taught you about like real life disasters and what a kid could do. So obviously there was like earthquake episodes, tornado episodes, and they would teach kids what to do. And I know there's lots of kids shows now that do stuff like that. I assume Paw Patrol does something like that.
Paw Patrol is the new Rescue Heroes for sure.
But Rescue Heroes would do like very specific stuff. Like one of my favorite episodes, there's a gas leak, and so they, for some reason, this random town in like South Carolina calls the IRF.
It was specifically in South Carolina.
I think it was.
As South Carolina. Of course, it was South Carolina.
And so they show up. Billy Blazes, the leader, and his team.
Is he the firefighter?
He's the firefighter. Well, there's a lot of firefighters, but he's like the guy with the big mustache. So yeah, he's the leader. The Leonardo, if you will.
Yes.
And but there's this gas leak, and they go to this underground cavern, and there's like all these chemicals, like all these like natural gas deposits that are like threatening to blow up the whole town. And like one point they get on fire and all this stuff. But at the end of the episode, they explain like, hey, if you smell this smell, it will smell like rotten eggs. Here's what you need to do: you need to get outside, you need to contact people and stuff like that. And then that happened in my neighborhood, where I was like walking around my house, like, Mom, it smells like rotten eggs. So we all got out, the entire neighborhood got out, and I was calm the whole time because I knew what to do, because Billy Blazes himself taught me. So I think, thank you, the show should be back, or at least some shows should be.
So that's your opinion.
Painfully specific. Yeah, we're just like,
okay.
We should really like show the trauma, how scary like natural disasters can be in cartoon form, but then also teach kids very specifically what to do in very specific things.
I mean, to be fair, that could be happening. We just don't know. Well, I guess I see what you're saying, because this is specifically like dangerous situations. I know there's shows that like I don't know much about the show Bluey, but I hear it's like does a really good job of explaining like certain emotional situations that someone might come across and like expressing it really well. I hear nothing but good things about it.
Dude, I've only seen one episode of Bluey. Made me cry.
Yeah, I know a lot of adults that like watch it unironically. Like,
it's good.
No,
I've only seen it again the one time, but because I can't watch it without people putting it on, because I don't have a kid yet, and I feel like it'd be bad if I watch it out. But
I mean, now's also a good time to watch it, because no one who cares.
That's also true.
You know what's nice about society today is that I feel like you could do something like that. You could just watch Bluey, and I'm sure you can find a group of people that also like Bluey that aren't too weird about it.
That's true.
And like there's community. There's a lot more community nowadays, I feel like, and that could be me being naive or thinking.
No, because like there was no anime communities back in the day.
Yeah.
Like I was mentioning this to you guys, but growing up, the only manga and stuff I would read was at our school library. And since no one else liked it, I didn't know for like a whole year that I was reading each one backwards.
Yeah,
that's also because I'm dumb. Because obviously there's like, it makes no sense. But it's like, this is crazy that these people keep like dying and then showing up alive again. But
what so we were talking about this when we were playing Xbox the other day. I think you might have been on the call.
Yeah.
But you know, not just anime, but like what TV show do you think would be the most confusing to watch if you started from the end? Or better yet, if you watched the last episode and then jumped to the first episode. How confusing would it be? Like,
that's a great question. I feel like regular show would be kind of confusing. How it end? The last episodes are them in space.
But regular show's tough because the first episode goes off the rails. Also,
that's true. But they're I guess if you watch multiple episodes, like 3 in the end and 3 in the beginning, regular show would be a bit confusing because they're consistently in space. And then they're consistently.
That's right. That's when Pops dies.
But
did you not know that?
I didn't know that actually. I just know that
I'm so sorry.
Well, you know, I don't care about spoilers, but
yeah.
But no, I meant how they like do this whole like Star Trek-y thing where they're like in space for like a season.
Speaking of which, real quick, my second favorite Power Rangers season is Power Rangers in Space. Continue.
Isn't there like?
There's a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, there's more than I know.
Have you ever watched Super Sentai?
No, I think we might have talked about this. It's like Power Rangers, right?
Well, it's what Power Rangers is based off.
Yeah.
Of.
Oh, you know what? If I don't think I'm mistaken here, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe they still do Super Sentai.
Yes.
But Super Sentai is like the Japanese version of the Power Rangers that we have. So there's like a Super Sentai version of Power Rangers Time Force.
Yeah, because the Super Sentai got started in the 70s.
Right.
It came over to America and got rebranded to Power Rangers and was started in the 90s. So they have like 2 decades on us in terms of lore.
I don't know. So I'm jumping around a lot of side tangents here.
I think this is just a chill episode where we're talking.
Back to the original question here about shows that would be confusing if you started at the end first.
Yeah.
Dude, funny story, man. Forgot completely in explaining why I was going back to the original question. I totally forgot what show I was talking about. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's what it was. I haven't finished it, but I know that's
fair.
Jumping from different family lines would be super confusing to go to the beginning after the first couple last episodes.
Well, also, spoiler for this most recent season, unless you care.
For what?
For JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
It's still going on?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought it was done. I don't
No,
care. I don't care about
I don't.
spoilers.
I don't see any end in sight. Okay, so the season that just came out, Stone Ocean, is like I don't know 6 or 8. I can't remember which season it is. But basically, like the big thing at the end that happens is that the entire timeline gets reset. Like,
Jeez.
in a crazy, it's like that's what the villain wanted to do, and he sort of succeeds, and it all resets. Like the creator sort of did that just because of how over the top JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was getting. But that's also why like that would be especially confusing because like the next season they're going back to like cowboy time, so they're like going back in time and like
Gotcha.
retelling everyone's story. So that would be extremely confusing because you like see all these people killed off and stuff
Right.
in the first episode, and then the next episode is like they're just different. They're not only alive but completely different.
That would be a confusing one. That's trippy. I need to watch it. Our coworker keeps telling me to watch it. I just have so many shows that I just haven't.
There's not enough time. There's a JoJo Bizarre Adventure panels in the Louvre, apparently.
No kidding.
It's cool fashion.
That's way cool. Another show that would be really confusing. Well, I guess not the show, but since we've read the manhwa for Solo Leveling.
Oh yeah.
The towards the ending of Solo Leveling, or can you imagine like Naruto, like they're fighting Kaguya. There's Kakashi uses Susanoo, Sasuke uses Susanoo. They're in a different dimension, and then going to the first episode, Naruto is using Sexy Jutsu and Shadow Clone Jutsu for the first time. And you're like, how the frick did we get from here to here? And then hundreds of episodes later, there we are.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Do you even know what the last episode is?
Well, I know what happens.
Yeah. But... No, that one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that one would be really crazy to start off with. Breaking Bad's funny because the first episode starts off. The RV is like driving like over bumps of the desert. Walt has no clothes on except for his underwear, and then he crashes, and that's how the first episode starts. Is Breaking Bad, and then jumping to the last episode. I don't need to do a spoiler because Breaking Bad's been done forever. But Walt has like a automatic machine gun in the back of his truck.
And he shoots up like neo-Nazis or something. Yeah.
And then he lets Jesse free, and then Walt eventually dies in a meth lab. So, that'd be a crazy one to do for sure. Any other opinions you have?
That was tell me, do you have you already told me one. Random opinions. Another random opinion I have is that I think that Disney is a sketchy company, and we probably don't have time to go over everything that I think sketchy.
Stay tuned. We're gonna make a special episode about this.
Yeah,
and maybe Parker has a whole freaking PowerPoint.
I have a whole vendetta
of why Disney is an evil company.
But we'll just say, and it's not we'll just say that.
Give him a little sneak peek.
Disney just does a lot of not cool corporate stuff. But since everyone looks at them with rose-tinted glasses, they kind of get away with it. And that's it. It's probably... Because when most people say that they think Disney's evil, what they're usually talking about is like political stuff. Where they're like, they snuck like a picture...
Mermaids are white!
Yeah, no, exactly.
Shane Gillis.
But it's like, I just think they're like a giant corporation. And there's very few giant corporations I can think of that aren't kind of evil. But Disney just gets away with a lot compared to most other corporations. And they're so big. I heard some statistic where like once a corporation gets to a certain size, like at that point just corruption is inevitable and is involved.
Right.
And that's what's going on.
I mean, like I just don't know how it could be avoided.
Yeah, exactly.
Even I would just imagine even if a CEO is like the most well-intended person, when there's so many levels of management in different like areas that people need to be managed, there's got to be like someone through the grapevine. Like it would take it's like an insane level of coordination, attention to detail, and like auditing in a sense where like to keep things in check. Like I just don't know how you can avoid. And then even then, when you get that big, like eventually you have to get that big by making like big moves, not to be redundant there. And so those moves tend to come at the cost of like another company, different things, because I don't know, competition's a weird thing.
And with that much money involved, eventually it's just something.
What's an interesting thing I was thinking about? We work in an industry where it's very big. Company cultures, especially in corporations and stuff, is a very big thing nowadays where people are trying to build cultures that would make employees want to stay. We work for a really cool company that does that. It's been super awesome. We really enjoy it. I was very interested in about this. This relates to the Disney thing, by the way.
Okay.
Like if a company, it's like a weird balance where they want to give their employees all these cool benefits and stuff, but in order to keep a good company culture, you have to keep elevating the company culture. And because eventually if people get so used to a system, if you take that away, it'll feel like it's a bad company when there was all these like nice things that you've gotten that you didn't necessarily need. For example, we have like a snack bar that's just full of snacks all the time. It's super cool. If one day they took away that snack bar, like our like enjoyment of the company would go down significantly, honestly. But even though I've worked at many companies where we didn't have a full snack bar, and this was just such a huge treatment, we gotten so used to it. So it's just weird that the companies have to constantly elevate their culture. Now back to Disney. It blows my mind that Disney adults are a thing, that people can constantly keep going to Disney and have a fun experience, because I'm like, how do you not just get used to it? Or just like so like used to it that it loses its flavor a little bit, where it's just like it plateaus a little bit.
No, that's a good point.
Then there could be a couple of reasons. That is that one, nostalgia plays a huge factor with Disney.
Sure.
Two is that Disney also is constantly changing or adding to things and stuff,
like updating and stuff.
Yeah, new rides, new food has become a huge. I feel like Disney's really leaned into the food a lot more over the years. Like they really try to push. I feel like that's a lot of things that Disney adults do, but it's just like elevating that experience, so people don't get used to it. But then it just like I wonder if that hits a limit.
Disney adults who aren't upset that we call them Disney adults, tell us what you think.
Yeah, like how have you not gotten like used to it? And in the nicest way possible, how have you not gotten sick of it?
Yeah,
because I feel like I really like the Disney attraction, the parks and stuff. And even though you've convinced me of how evil the corporation is, I still like going. I
should also say though that like I think we can separate like content that Disney makes and the parks and stuff from my perception of them being evil. I just think like the corporation as a whole owns too many like companies and is too large. But like all the artists involved, all like the cast members, all the like obviously like that's fine. It's just faceless corporations is my issue.
Yeah.
So if you like Disney, that's fine. I just think
you're just another cog in the machine now.
It's just also fine to acknowledge that
you're just a puppet.
That corporations and capitalism can sometimes like go a bit far. But if you like Disney or the Hercules movie or Lion King, that's fine. That doesn't mean you. I think you're evil. I think you're fine.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Lilo and Stitch live action?
No. I saw the Pigskin game. Super Bowl. I saw the Super Bowl commercial where he like
where he, like, what does that have to do with it?
He stole a golf cart and like
do you know what they really need to do is this isn't my idea, by the way. I saw this on the internet.
Okay.
But how when Lilo and Stitch first came out, the previews for it were that Stitch would just show up in random Disney movies.
Yeah,
like in Aladdin, they're flying on the magic carpet, and then Stitch's spaceship flies over, and then different things. Or he's like he's like climbing the roof during the Beauty and the Beast dance.
Yeah,
and the chandelier just falls. So they should totally do that with like the live action movies that have been coming out. It's too late now because they already started the trailers, but
that's
missed opportunity, Disney.
Because corporation. They've made live action of all the ones that they did originally. I think. I can only think of Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid and Aladdin. So
yeah, and they've done Lion King. Snow White just came out.
They could put Stitch in all of them. That's a great idea.
Mulan. That one would be a little funny if they had Stitch going in because the Mulan was a little like more historically accurate. Jungle Book. There was. I'm missing some, but yeah, they should totally just have them on that same vein. Remember when Pixar used to do bloopers? Like they would make bloopers. Oh, they should bring that back.
Those were like I really liked the Toy Story bloopers.
Oh yeah, when I remember in Toy Story,
probably
2. It was 2 when they were walking by all the buzzes, and the one buzz is like,
or like they kept putting like
faces on his
helmet. Yeah.
Just another one of those moments when I lost my thought. That's crazy. Dang it. It was about this too. Oh well. Thought flees me.
That's fine. Did you ever watch the Lilo and Stitch TV show?
Yeah. Da, 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 da. Oh, no.
It's a great show. I watched that more than the movie. And I remember they had like McDonald's or Burger King toys for that.
So when you think of the show, what's like the first episode that came to your mind? I'm just curious if we're on the same wavelength here.
There was, I think this was in the TV show. There was some alien that could cause other aliens to fall in love with it.
The pink one.
The pink
Yes.
one. And so Stitch fell in love with it and totally abandoned everyone and made Lilo sad. But then I can't remember how it resolved. And then there was another episode where someone, like, I know there's like a bad person, and then the bad person has like some dumb sidekick, and at some point the sidekick made a sandwich out of sand and said, "Look, it's a sandwich." And then the show ended. So those are the only two details I remember.
What do you think of Gantu?
Probably.
Captain Gantu, the giant dolphin dude.
No,
Because his sidekick was 625, who made the sandwiches.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
You know what's funny? There's an episode of that show when Gantu, people are like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm someone." Really? Yeah, he said that. That was so funny. I'm like, "What the heck is this? I just catch a stray?" But I also took that as a compliment.
That's really funny.
The first episode I think of, I don't know if you saw this one, was there was a bigger alien that was born, but he kind of looked like a bigger, buffer Stitch, and he had 4 arms also, and they would just box,
yes,
or wrestle or whatever,
yes.
And then Stitch lost the first time, and then he beats him the second time. That's the first one that comes to mind when I think of it. And then I think the show led into the movie Leroy and Stitch. Did you ever watch that?
I must have, but I have no memory.
So Leroy and Stitch is when
isn't Leroy just like Stitch, but
he's
crazier?
6'7". So 6'26" is like
is
Stitch and his prime.
Yeah.
But then Jumba apparently made 6'7". It was Leroy, and he was better than Stitch in every aspect. But he had one weakness, was that he thought everything was funny, and so they just kept making Leroy laugh. And then that's when Stitch finally beat him. Something happened to him afterwards, and then he went off. And then the show ends. Jumbo is like, "It's not ready for this yet," and he puts 628 in like a chamber and closes it. Nothing ever came of that. I know. Oh,
because just you explain, I was like getting like, "Oh, this is exciting."
So I'll bring these back. Oh
that was a fun show. Just going
100%.
Around Hawaii, just finding all these random aliens.
Yeah, then they would touch, because the little capsules had to touch water in order to sprout.
Yeah,
and it was always surprising because it was kind of like a, who's that Pokemon? It's like, who's the alien this week?
That was a good like. I assume it didn't do well, and that's why it ended. But
I think what happened is it fell, because you know how the Disney Channel had like the 3-season rule.
No, I didn't know.
Like,
I didn't watch Disney Channel.
Yeah. So so most of the shows on Disney Channel only lasted 3 seasons until they got a reboot, because something with the contracts for the actors and stuff is that if they do more than 4 seasons, they're supposed to get a bonus. So what Disney Channel did, I could be that detail could be completely wrong,
sure.
But something about with the contracts with the actors and stuff is that they couldn't do, there was bonuses or something, some kind of incentive to do more than 3 seasons of a show. So Disney Channel would only stop at 3 seasons. But if a show is popular, to keep it going, what they would do is they do a reboot, or like a spin-off of it. So Sweet Life of Zack and Cody had 3 seasons, and once it hit that third season, afterwards they switched to Sweet Life on Deck, completely different show. Same
so
thing.
It could be same cast, but it would just be
they just kind of switch them over and then do a new show. And a lot of these are kids, and so a lot of them want to stay in the acting business, and so they keep going. But there's a lot of these incentives or rules or something that Disney is avoiding by doing the spin-off series afterwards. So Lilo and Stitch was another one where I think it only lasted 3 seasons, and then they cut it off, and then it just didn't get renewed for something else.
Honestly, might watch it when I get home.
Yeah,
it's a good show. Did you watch the Buzz Lightyear TV show?
A little bit.
That was good.
I haven't.
Just a space cop and his crew running around.
Yeah,
kind of better than. I didn't think the Buzz Lightyear movie was that good.
No, it wasn't.
But if it had been like a space cop and all these different weird aliens.
Yeah.
I like that I talked about how I hated Disney, and then we just talked about good forgotten
Disney
TV shows. But you know what? They get me too sometimes.
Bring back the Lilo and Stitch TV show. Let's start a petition. Let's do it. I know we're not the only people that think
no, it's hopefully not.
No, we're not. Yeah, dude, I think that's a good place to stop.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Side Tangent. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We also have Instagram. I didn't tell you this. I just created the official Side Tangent Reddit page.
Oh,
So
really?
there's nothing on it, but go check out the Side Tangent Reddit page.
That's fine.
And all the links I just told you is on that as well. I don't know what we're gonna use it for. I wanted to create it. We wanted to interact with the community a little bit more. So anyone that wants to chat with us, share your opinions on us, Reddit is another place to go. Any last words?
For those who have a Disney Plus and are thinking about it, just go put on the Lilo and Stitch. I had to think about it. Go put on the show. Watch the first few episodes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.